La 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 la.
Look at it.
Maybe it doesn't work. I don't know.
Fuck off. Hi, and welcome to Two Ordinary Nerds, a podcast that was supposed to have 4 people today, but only had 2. I'm Lewis. This is Daniel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to our podcast, where 2 ordinary nerds talk about ordinary things.
Ordinary things.
Nerd. Like what? Nerd? What? Who? Wonder? What?
Like wondrous things.
That's a horrible intro. I have to say, that has to be our worst intro.
Well, I had a better one planned, but the people that were supposed to be on our podcast today decided not to show up.
Fuck them. So what?
You know what?
Drinking?
I should actually owe him a slap for not. Yeah. Hey, for the person that was supposed to show up today, we're gonna make it to where you owe me two slaps and I owe you one.
Wasn't it 4 slaps?
No, it was 3.
Oh.
But now I owe him 1 and he owes me 2.
So what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking on Casey Opening Day Ale from
The Kansas City Craft Brewers.
It's not bad. It's got a nice summer taste.
Let me try it. Alright, so... Oh wow, it's really good.
Yeah.
What flavor is it?
It reminds me of like 80 Acre mixed with like Blue Moon or something.
No, it has something in it. Yeah, it's like a Blue Moon, but I can't tell what exactly.
It's like a lemon. It's like a lemon twist.
Yeah. Tugging, boating, pitching. Yeah. I like it. It's weird. It's a very weird beer.
It's a good summer beer. It's like a shandy kind of, but
yeah,
but better.
It has something there, something acidic to it. That's pretty good.
Yep.
But yeah, in this episode we're going to talk about good old Wonder Woman.
Our review on Wonder Woman and what we thought. Stay tuned for our next episode because we'll be talking about E3.
Yeah, it's also going in the same week as this, so you get a bonus
bonus round.
Exactly. So let's get our lasso of truth, and now we will only tell the truth about Wonder Woman.
Wow, DC did it again. That movie really fucking sucked. I mean, so bad. I'm just kidding. That movie is actually really good.
I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was fresh. Before we start, I just want to shout it out there that it wasn't good just because it was a female superhero. It was good. It was all around good. It was. This beer has to be pretty strong. Baby. The female superhero. It was a fresh and something new.
It was,
but it didn't. I don't think they made it just like, oh, it's girl power and fuck men. It was like you could understand their perspective and they did it pretty well. I actually pretty enjoyed it a lot.
I liked how, because even though she was kind of secluded her whole life, they didn't make her out to be like this ditzy girl that was like, oh, ha, ha, man, I saw your penis. Like, she was just, I know what that is. I don't need to waste time being like, oh, ha, ha, he has a dick.
They did a little dick joke when he was naked.
Yeah.
But it was
well played. It wasn't distasteful.
I think they used like, the wording was pretty well because they were using like, what is that? It's a watch.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so, I think, and they were using that, so they tackle that, like, in a unique, fun way that wasn't
distasteful,
or making the male audience be like,
yeah.
I think it was good. I think I enjoyed it quite a bit.
For me, I compared it to as good as Thor 1 because I really liked Thor 1 because they had like the really good fight scenes and it was a good movie, and
Thor 1 had one good fight scenes that Thor 1 had.
Well, the beginning fight scene was good.
Which beginning fight scene?
The one where they're on the ice level. I liked it, but
I think you're talking about Thor 2.
No, Thor 2 wasn't that good of a movie.
I liked it better than Thor 1.
I thought that overall it was a great movie. I would own the movie, but I wouldn't chalk it up to be as good as like Avengers or Guardians if we're comparing movies. Of course, DC doesn't. This is their 3rd movie. They don't really have any movie. Well, I guess it's their 4th if you count the Superman movie.
I completely disagree with you. I thought it was way better than Thor 1. I thought it was by far the best superhero movie of this year. 2017.
Excuse us.
Which I think it was better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was good. It did good things. It did some things that weren't so great, but you know, like there's a few movies that I think they're I think it was comparable to I don't know what to compare it to because I think
there's so many movies in the Marvel universe you could compare it to, and
I think Iron Man 1. A great movie.
You know what? You know what? That I didn't even think about that. That's a.
I think DC should have started with this movie.
You know what's funny is like most people go into like, in a sense, for like a DC universe, people are like, oh man, even like with Arrow, they're like everyone keeps asking when are they going to put Batman in it because everyone loves Batman. But for me, I'm more interested now in her character. Like, I'm more excited to go see Justice League for her and Jason Momoa because, I mean, he's called
Flash for me. I'm more interested in Flash.
I'm excited for Flash because he looks like he brings comedy to it. But I'm more excited to see her character and how she keeps all these people in line because I really like how she's just strong-willed and how, you know, you go through some movies where, oh, I don't want to... Like, Black Widow she's strong-willed, but she is kind of like in behind Captain America.
Well, unfortunately, I think I'm going to cut you right there.
That's fine.
With Black Widow, you can't compare Black Widow with Wonder Woman. But Wonder Woman's a superhero.
Agreed.
She can hold her, she's beaten. She has Superman. She is one of the top dogs. Black Widow is not a top dog.
But what I'm talking about is as in a strong female character. Well, it was nice to see someone she didn't give a shit about anybody. She was, you know, when they were in No Man's Land, she understood what Chris Pine was trying to say about, hey, you know, we have a mission, we don't need to go there. But yet she was like, I understand what mission we have to do. But this needs to be done because these people are being affected by this army and they're being enslaved. And this is my duty. My duty is to make sure that the people of Earth are safe. And so she did that and she went into No Man's Land like a fucking boss.
I think it's a good time for us to like basically, let's jump back, let's do 2 steps back, do a little synopsis. Okay. So our listeners can understand what we're talking about, the ones who haven't seen it or don't care the spoilers. But yeah, just give them a basic synopsis, so...
I'll leave the synopsis to you this time.
Alright, well,
usually I do it.
Basically, so Wonder Woman she was raised as a Amazonian princess, but she wasn't raised to be a warrior. But she always had that like fire in her. So she went to her aunt and basically begged with little mischiefs to train her. So she trains her. The mom, the queen of the Amazons, finds out and basically tells her you can't do it. And the aunt says you have to. You know, Ares, who's the big bad guy, the god of war, is going to come in someday. So she has to be ready. The mom agrees and trains her. And then basically she becomes like the best warrior of all of the Amazonians. At the same time that she completes her training, basically, Chris Pratt, who is a spy for the...
No, Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, who's a spy for the... Is he American or British?
American.
He's American, but he works for the British as a spy in Germany. He finds out that in North Africa... No, not North Africa, in Turkey, Madame Poison, who is... a German who's working with the German army, is trying to create this deadly poison. He steals his research and basically gets in a plane and runs away with the German army chasing him. He gets shot down but he crashes into the Amazonian island. A Wonder Woman jumps in, saves the day, saves him. The German army chases him. It basically finds out where the Amazonian island is, and they have this little battle where a lot of Amazonians died, but all the Germans were killed. And in that battle, the ant dies. So when they're interrogating Pine, he basically says the war they were fighting is World War One, and it's commonly known the war to end all wars, which is not technically true.
But that's how they labeled it.
But yeah,
then.
I mean, I know. That was my little joke.
Oh.
That was
Yeah, I want to. Hopefully, they side note. When I was watching the movie, when they said that, I was like, "Huh." So Wonder Woman's been through this whole time period. What'd she do about Hitler?
Yeah, I will go back and mention that.
Okay.
So basically, he basically tells the war of all wars. Who's the god of war? Ares. Who's the enemy of the Amazonians? Ares. So she decides, I need to go there because Ares is influencing, and he has to be sure part of the Germans. So she goes with Chris Pine to England, gets the has a little fun little cultural shock between World War I England, where everybody's very uptight, versus her that's very more open minded, and they recruit the little like unit and try to go to where Ares is building the bomb and stop it. So she goes there. They have the great battle.
Belgium.
They go to Belgium and they have this really great battle in No Man's Land where people are dying, and Wonder Woman is like, no, I need to save them. So she basically crosses No Man's Land, kicks the butt of the Germans, and then the British could basically move forward a little bit. In that process, she also liberates a city. Also all good. Then they find out they're going to throw a party. So she basically goes into the party as an undercover with Chris Pine to basically kill the German leader. At this point, the Germans finally finish the gas bomb and basically shoot into the city that just been liberated, and basically kills everybody. Well, they kill everybody in the city. In this rage moment, Wonder Woman goes to the military base and fights the German leader that Madame Poison basically created the serum to make him super strong in a short duration of time. Wonder Woman surprisingly kills him. We can talk about it later. But nothing changes, and she's like, what the hell? Maybe the humans are not as good as it tells. Little does she know that Ares was playing the British all along, and he was influencing and trying to get the war to continue. In that moment, there's a big fight scene where Wonder Woman is basically loses against Ares because she's lost hope with humanity. But Chris Pine does the ultimate sacrifice and destroys the plane where all the bombs or all the gas bombs are. That regains hope with America, with Wonder Woman, basically realizing that Chris Pine loved her and he loved them, giving enough power to destroy and kill Ares, the god of war. And back to present day, where he says she would never give up because love is the most powerful, blah, blah, blah. That's basically much a quick synopsis. I jump huge parts of the story because we're going to talk about them. But I was going to ask you, let's start with what you didn't like about it, and then let's...
Well, that's interesting because we usually start with what we do like.
I know,
so
but I think this part is going to be... I think it's going to be much shorter.
I would agree with that.
And then we're going to talk about the good stuff because there's a lot of good stuff to talk about.
What I didn't like. First and foremost, I would say I don't like Ares' armor. I like how it symbolized the armor of the comic, but I think it would have been a lot... I just feel like he wasn't a god when they still... It looked like a dude at Comic-Con.
Do you think the problem was the actor of Ares?
Oh, no. He's a great actor. And
I didn't like him as Ares.
He plays a really good job as villain, and I like him.
I wish that he could transform and be more bigger.
Agreed. I feel like... I'm glad they didn't go crazy like that stupid, evil, whatever they had at the end of Suicide Squad. How they had like
the Enchantress?
Not the Enchantress, but her brother.
Okay.
How he kind of looked ridiculous. Horrible CGI. I'm glad they made him... It didn't look like bad CGI. My thing is I think it would have been cooler if they would have blacked out his face like in the comics, where it was just the red eyes and then the mask. Because I feel like he just looked like a dude that was in Comic-Con that had like a really kick-ass costume that he spent a lot of money on. He was a badass villain, and I think that was my favorite part. One of my favorite parts of the whole movie is they had the surprise. Like, I was not expecting him to be Ares. Like, out of everybody,
I saw it. I saw it pretty quick.
I should have, because the first thing I saw him, and like right now, I don't know if you watch it, but I watch Fargo. And Fargo, every season is different season. Well, right now that same guy is playing the villain in Fargo.
And I think he did a great British job. Like a British, like the little. I think they should have done something different. Maybe it's the costume, but I did not like.
He's in Harry Potter. He's a great actor, and he's
this has nothing to do with
the villain.
This has nothing to do with the actor. It has something to do with
the writing or
the aesthetics.
Yeah,
it's just me. I did not personally enjoy the aesthetics of the character, not the performance, just the aesthetics.
I think that's where my argument is too, because I don't think he didn't look like a god. Like she felt like a god. Like even if she was a smaller person, like her power, like just the way she acted, her presence, she felt like a god. And even when she didn't realize she was a god, she still acted like one. I don't know what
something I didn't like also is I feel like it wasn't like the World War I that rested. I didn't feel like they really show the horrors of that movie, of that war.
Yeah, like Verdun, like with the mud and
with
like
the mud, but I mean the
drowning,
gas and people. Like I wish I know they try to keep it PG, and then that's the reason why. But everybody knows that this is our podcast. I love World War One. That was one of the worst wars, like with the chlorine gas. I wish I could see more or less like the people in the town like choking, or people in the barracks choking. Yeah, something like that. And I understand why they did it, but if you read history and you read the World War I, it was a nasty, nasty war. I feel like that No Man's Land,
it would have been like way worse.
It seemed like
there wasn't any bodies in this.
Yeah, I wish there was like when she was walking, she can realize.
Verdun was more so like the 9th episode of last season of Game of Thrones, and not as much bodies piled up. They were scattered out and hiding under mud, but when she's walking, grotesque.
The No Man's Land feel. It was a cool scene. Don't get me wrong; it was awesome when she was boom, and the scene afterwards is even better. But I think they tried they lowered the PG a little bit too much, and that would be a great place to show like the horrors of war, because they were showing the horrors of war, but they didn't really show it. I understand they couldn't go saving Private Ryan and Wonder Woman. But I was hoping Private Ryan.
I think what we need is like a Band of Brothers show, but for World War One instead of World War II.
Yeah, that's true. But that's the thing that you didn't like. And the second thing, like you mentioned, where would the fuck was she with Hitler?
Yeah.
I get it.
They just jump from like World War One, which is the war to end all wars, and I'm like, okay, World War One was bad. We lost. There was a shit ton of people that died. But if we're counting World War I versus World War II, World War II was real bad. We have you'd think that she would be like, okay, I'm going to be here part of this. I'm going to go help liberate the Jews, because people are being massacred.
They didn't know that.
She didn't know that. Just like in this, like she had no idea I thought it was...
Yeah, but nobody knew about the Jews. Well, I guess the SS and the Germans did, but nobody else.
The American intelligence knew. They didn't know if they could act on it because they didn't know if it was reliable information, but...
And the other thing I was going to say is they made the Germans be super evil. And not in World War... in World War I, they weren't... It wasn't
the Austrian-Hungarian force. It wasn't just the Germans. It was,
but it wasn't such a clear. It wasn't a battle of good and evil. It was a battle of it was diplomat. Like if you attack him,
It's the last wars of the empires.
But it wasn't like the German, the French and the British weren't technically good, and the Germans weren't technically bad. Yeah. They were just a whole bunch of bullshit politics. Of empires, like if you attack the Austria-Hungary, I'll need to pass. But if you attack Serbia, Moscow will attack. But if Moscow attacks, Britain does attack. And if France attacks, it was basically how it worked.
I would agree with that.
They made them look like they were a whole bunch of assholes, and it's like
that's why I like Battlefield 1, the video game, because you play as every team, and they don't make the Germans out to be like these bad guys, because a lot of people don't realize, like, I'm playing with my friends, I'm like, oh, get this, you Nazi, and they're like, us being us, and like other people we play with, we're all a bunch of historic nerds that are like, hey, I'm not a Nazi, we're playing before then. And I'm like, I get that, but it's just fun to say. But in this
It's
part,
fun to say that you're a Nazi.
no, it's fun
to say.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. No, I was saying like they're playing the Germans. If I'm playing against them, it's fun to be like, oh, get this, you Nazi. But yeah, I mean, like in World War One, they weren't. It wasn't about
good or bad.
There was obviously propaganda of Nazis or not Nazis. Wow, I'll delete
the
that.
Nazis.
Yes, the Germans disliking America and America disliking.
No, but that's not true.
There is propaganda of that. If you
But
go to
yeah,
World War,
but it changes a lot.
It's
like
not-
the propaganda. It wasn't never United States versus the Germans. It was politics, and the United States changed their opinion quite a lot of times
yeah.
because we have a huge population of Germans. In the beginning, we were like, "Go Germany," and then it was like, "Go France." No changes, but I mean that's the point. Like, without going on with this topic, it's.
They weren't
In
evil.
World War One, it wasn't such a evil versus
You're
good.
not trying
it
to
was
fight
a whole
a
bunch
dictator.
of it was a whole bunch of bullshit politics, and
Feels like the war we're about to get into right now.
Mm-hmm. but then
We called it first.
but that's only my only complaints.
Yeah. I would that's one I never thought of, but I would agree with that they
They made them look like they're super like
They're not-
they make them look like Nazis
yeah.
when
I think that's what they wanted to go for was the Nazi.
I think it's an easy
Yeah.
because a lot of people confuse them. A lot of people think that the World War One were Nazis and they were not. There wasn't any fascist country.
Fascist Party didn't start until 1932 when Hitler took power. Well, around
Mussolini wasn't first. Hitler.
then. Well, Mussolini was in Italy, but yeah,
But that's a fascist.
that's a fascist. But I'm talking about Germany.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that's enough of that. Now let's go with the good parts. What do you love?
First off, that fucking fight scene on that beach was badass. Like even like I mean when Chris Pine crash landed, they get on the beach and then the Germans come in and they have to fight. I really thought, I mean, it really brought the emotion when, like, Gal Gadot actually saw her people, or I guess I should say Wonder Woman saw her people get killed because she's so used to be like, oh, these people can't get killed. So and then all of a sudden she sees all these people getting killed and then she gets pissed off about it. And I thought it was also cool, like, the rifle play they used, was very realistic towards that time frame, and I thought it was cool, like Chris Pine, him trying to save them, and everything about that scene worked. And I really like the other part I love is the team they came up with. They had the Native American guy, they had the Indian guy.
I was gonna go back with your say of the battle. I thought it was I think the Princess Bride, Robin Wright. Was amazing.
House of Cards.
House of Cards. It's kind of nice to see a princess become a general for once. But it was amazing scene. It was clear.
Buttercup killed it.
Mm-hmm. It was clear that how they're stronger, faster, but they can still be easily wounded with modern technology. Yeah. So it put some emphasis in the future movies where if the Amazonians have to attack somebody, they're still vulnerable. She's
immortal. She's not invincible.
The Amazonians. I'm just saying the Amazonians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that they put a great emphasis on the fact that yes, they are immortal.
Yeah, so
but they're not.
Died.
They could not die from being 600 years old or just
like Dracula. It's like Dracula's immortal, but you can still kill him.
Yep.
But she did a really good job. All the Amazonians did a really good job.
Every actor in there was great.
Mm-hmm.
Actress, sorry. I really like how they did a really good job of going with that Mediterranean Greek look.
Yeah.
It wasn't Roman, it was definitely Greek, which is what it should be. I mean, I'm not a huge DC comic person, but she is
it is Greek because they say Ares
and Zeus.
And Zeus, not Jupiter or Mars.
Yep.
So that's how you know they're Greek.
But there are movies that mess that completely up, and they have, Rome.
Not anymore. Nowadays, if you get a good production, they do the research.
Stay tuned for the next podcast because I have a lot of complaints about the new Assassin's Creed.
With the Egyptians.
Yes.
But let's go back what you were saying about the unit cast. I thought it was awesome that they had like a little bit of everything.
They did,
and they showed, I think one of the few times they showed the actual scars of war.
Yep.
With the Native Americans saying like,
that's my friend, but his people killed all of my people.
Yeah, and then,
which is amazing that they said that.
And then the Scottish had the nightmares and terrors, and still was like.
And why he couldn't. I really enjoyed that. Like, you know, a lot of war movies you see nowadays. Saving Private Ryan is a great one. You know, snipers have a job to do, and it's one of the hardest jobs that are out there.
You see the face.
But you see the face. And I really liked how they put in there where he saw the face and he's like, I can't do it. But before he's like, oh, if I don't see the face, it's not an issue to me. So if he's got his back turned, I can do that. But
or he's far away where he can't see the face.
Yeah.
But it was great. I mean, they had a little bit of everything. Of course, they all had their classical traits. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you had the guy who can talk about anything, the sniper who has like this little charm.
I really liked how they put the Indian guy in there because he was, you know, that army was kind of a big part of World War One. Also,
the Native American.
No, the actual from India, the guy.
Oh yeah.
Or Morocco.
He was
their thief, kind of
thief that can talk about. Where he basically talks and gets away with it.
He was their theater. He's like, oh, I wanted to be an actor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked the diverse cast. It really shined a light on the movie and really made it.
But they never made a fuss about it.
Yeah,
that's important. Like for me, it's like I'm about diversity. I want it to be natural. I don't want it to be forced.
Even like the female versions, like where she was, you know, trying to wear her Wonder Woman outfit, and he's like, whoa, you gotta cover up. That's not, you can't do that these days. And then, you know, I like how the secretary talked about women's suffrage.
Yeah,
she was just like, yeah, you know what? She's like, you know, I'm not about not hitting them with my fist, but she's like, we have to fight them with our words because that's how we're going to get our vote.
Yeah, her name is Lucy Davids. And she did an amazing job as Candy, I think her name was.
And I really like how they showed the aspect of, you know, a female going into. You really, when you watch that part, it's really awkward. Like, you feel like in your skin, you're like, oh, this just feels really weird.
But to be honest, that outfit, nowadays, you won't see it. You don't see that walking down the street.
I mean, there's people that wear pretty short skirts.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you don't see it every day-to-day basis.
It is a pretty revealing costume.
Yeah, it is like a revealing costume.
One thing...
But there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's still... Even today, if a woman would wear that clothes downtown, she will still get looks, unfortunately.
I really like how in this movie, you know, you're so used to seeing them cast a female that is robust or somebody that is just like, oh, you know, if we're putting them in like a clothing like that, they
busty.
Yeah, they gotta have big boobs and they gotta have this and they gotta that like that.
Oh, she is incredible.
Like she is gorgeous.
And she was
Gal Gadot is amazing.
She was pregnant.
And but my thing is like I really like how this. I'm hoping this shifts the norm of movies where we're more worried about looks than acting. Where versus this movie. This girl fucking knocked it out of the water, man. Like, she is just such a good actress.
She's from Israel, I think.
Yep.
She is not. She did a really good job. She was strong as hell.
Like, and even when she was in Fast and the Furious, she was a really strong character. I mean, like, her death scene in Fast 5 was to save her boyfriend. She jumped out and shot this dude in the air before landing on the tarmac. And, I mean, she's always been, you know, everything I've seen her in has been a strong-willed character.
She does a great job. I have to say, like, Gal Gadot does a really good job.
Yep, I'm very happy.
Something that I liked a lot was how you say it? It's the story. It made sense. It was like, there was, like, the story overall was good. And I think they should have started the DC Universe with her.
Agreed.
Go with her, Superman, then Batman vs. Superman.
Nah, I think it would have been better if it was Her, Superman, Batman.
There's no Batman, so you can't put that there.
Why?
Because there's no Batman. You don't know if it's good. It could be a Batman, it could be rubbish.
True, but if you go with the going rate of
Batman already
movies,
has a whole bunch of movies.
if you think about it, though, the Batman was the best part of Batman vs. Superman. So if you go with that context and say, okay, we have that Batman has his own movie.
I don't know.
I
think Batman it's like Spider-Man. There's a lot of movies. Let's you don't need to have. I was gonna be Batman. First, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman versus Superman. Then go with a Flash or a Flash. Then the Justice League, and the Justice League introduces Aquaman. Then have like a Green Lantern. So I just think this movie if this movie was the first, I'm pretty sure they would have realized the good things about it and changed a lot of things.
All right, we're at our time. How many beers? What would you give it?
I'll give it a 4.5.
I would give it a 4.
I liked it. I recommend it.
I would own it.
I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah,
and it's kind of fun to at least now we have a strong, finally a pure strong female hero. Not a
I'm
Black
fucking
Widow.
excited for Justice League. Like Justice League, I was looking forward to, but now I feel like I'm more excited because. Just like, with Avengers, just like Avengers, I was excited for that because of Iron Man. Like, it'd be cool to see Iron Man connect with all these characters, and I liked all those characters, but I really love Iron Man.
But
it's like this.
But the funny part of Avengers, the best 2 parts were basically Hulk and Thor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
the whole moment when he destroyed Loki, and that moment where Thor and Hulk
punch each other,
or the little duo where Hulk stabs the little flying snake and Thor just basically smashes it with a hammer.
I would agree with that, but like Tony Stark did have one of the better parts too when he has to realize when he comes to not being the playboy.
Yeah, but that's the story. But I'm just saying, like, it didn't have to emphasize so much in Tony Stark's that it could let the other one shine because having that strong one, and I think
that's why I'm so excited about seeing Wonder Woman. I hope
Flash shines. Flash and Aquaman need to sign.
Well, Flash is gonna. Dude, Flash looks fucking awesome. Like what I've seen from those the
DC makes great trailers.
That is true. I feel like with Joss being part of this team now, I think Joss
still gonna follow the.
Although you say that, I say that. And definitely Avengers 1 was a great movie. Firefly is fucking amazing. Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, kind of fell on its face.
I did not follow.
It was a great movie.
It was fun.
But it's not the first.
Well, yeah.
The first one was way better.
But then the problem is now you make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's going to self-implode because it's too big. It's going to go supernova.
I think my thing is I'm so excited now about this because, like, we know this Wonder Woman character now. Like, before we knew about the comics, but, like, now we actually know the cinematic version of her and how she acts. And it'll be fun to see how she reacts with, like, let's say, Aquaman or with Flash.
Aquaman and Wonder Woman is going to be a fun interaction because both of them are... Technically, it's going to be fun to see Aquaman and Wonder Woman together. But before we let go, I just want to say... Dr. Poison, what a great job.
Oh, yeah.
As a story. Like, even the actress, but her storyline, they didn't basically tell you the backstory, but you can understand why she's doing it. She did a great job. Like, all the female actors did a great job, all the male actors did a great job, and that's kind of weird where you can't complain about the actors. So...
Chris Pine did great. I mean, the whole time I was thinking, like, oh, this is Captain Kirk, but, like, he did a great fucking job.
He didn't shine until the end, and I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
He was a Tony Stark in the Avengers, where he basically didn't have to shine until the end, and then he shined.
I was wondering if they were going to pull, like, a Dark Knight Rises, where he's, like, when she goes up and sees a memorial and sees his picture, if he was going to, like, walk in and be like, oh, hey, I'm alive. I was like, that would have been cool, but it's more symbolic if he stays dead.
He should be dead.
Yeah.
But if World War One, he's dead.
Yeah. There's no coming back from that war.
Yeah, he's dead.
All right.
And if he shows up, he's like,
Follow us on Two Ordinary Nerds at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
And just download us from everywhere you get your podcasts. Yep. If you download this one, you know where to get us.
Cheers.
Cheers.